American people stand firm in the faith which has inspired this nation from the beginning. We believe that all men have a right to equal justice under law and equal opportunity to share in the common good. We believe that all men have the right to freedom of thought and expression. We believe that all men are created equal because they are created in the image of God. From this faith, we will not be moved.
Hello, God bless America, and welcome to the Freedom of Thought podcast. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Freedom of Thought is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts for sure, eventually PodMN, maybe that one pretty soon, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. I'll have to get the links out to those, but just wanted to get this thing started. I don't even have a logo yet. I have it on the Facebook page, but don't officially have it on the podcast yet. Maybe I can have somebody get the picture sized down for me, get things ready to roll, but it's not about logos. It's not about looking pretty. It's not about this. It's not about that. It's about the United States of America and our freedom of thought, as you heard Harry Truman say in the introduction. That's why I chose that for the intro for this show moving forward. We got to have freedom of thought, folks. And if these president-elect, these two people, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, end up taking over this country, freedom of thought will become more and more of a thing of the past. This is the theme of this show. We need our freedoms. I'm sorry I didn't start this show sooner. I wanted to start it maybe almost a year ago, but here I am now. I could not stand on the sidelines anymore just doing sports podcasts and ranting about politics behind the scenes, or on Facebook, or even on Twitter a little bit. It's time to talk about politics, talk about the world, talk about the situations we face on the air with with my own show of Freedom of Thought. The fight is on, folks. The fight is on. Kamala Harris, obviously, is the bigger threat of the two. Joe Biden, to me, is more of a puppet, if anything. He's obviously not a good guy. You got the criminal element, of course, of his son, Hunter Biden, and all that nonsense going on with the Ukraine and all that, and son of a bitch, and they fired the prosecutor. Yeah, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg of what's really going on here. All the pedophilia. I mean, I could go on forever, but of course, I just wanted to kind of get this show started today. And generally speaking, there's no question in my mind, massive voter fraud, and we got to keep the fight going. Alex Jones with the caravan heading into Washington, D.C., starting in the Florida Panhandle area. Very cool. Obviously, the Alex Jones shows, constantly getting banned, constantly getting censored. You can't find him on iTunes anymore. Luckily, still on Google Podcasts, thank God, and that one works much better anyway. I still have him on Apple Podcasts because I never, deleted it completely, but I'm going to listen on Google Podcasts because Apple Podcasts, the last 3 minutes or so get cut off all the time. It's just creepy and weird. I mean, anybody says anything truthful about what's going on, you're called a liar. Truth is lies, lies is truth. Good is bad, bad is good. I mean, it's insanity. That's literally how it is. And heck, there are prophecies in the Bible about all that in Revelation where good would be bad, bad would be good, truth would be lies, lies would be truth. Welcome to Revelation, folks. That's very much what we're in now. I mean, this is Revelation. We're just not in the tribulation or anything yet, even though it sure as heck feels like a tribulation. It feels like it, but we're not quite there yet, obviously. Well, not obviously. We're just not quite there yet, thankfully. Boy, oh boy, it could be damn close if this ends up going through. It just, the whole thing reminds me of like the NFL, where somebody commits a penalty, or the guy dropped the ball, but it was ruled a catch. Okay, get the next playoff. Go. Hot. They can't review it now. That's kind of like what is going on with this Biden-Harris president-elect BS. It's a load of crap. It's unbelievable. That's literally what's going on. They can't review it now. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, guys. We still can review it. It ain't January 20th yet. It ain't December 31st yet. What is it right now? November 12th at the moment I'm recording this official first episode of Freedom of Thought. That's literally what they did, though. It's literally what they're trying to do, and the Dan Barreros locally and whoever are just like, it's over. What's wrong with you guys? Are you crazy? This is conspiracy theories. It's completely over. Are you nuts? People at work saying on Facebook, I don't say a word about it at work too much because I don't want to get in a big fight, even though I want to. I do want to, and I don't want to, but it's not worth it at work at this time. But outside of work, there's nothing anybody can do about it. As long as you don't break the law, as long as you don't act in violence, we gotta fight. We have to fight. And my form of fighting is on here. And maybe someday, if I ever get the freedom where I don't have to work 2 jobs, I could go on a caravan or something. I should probably practice what I preach when it comes to that type of thing. But those of you that are doing that, God bless you. God bless every one of you. God bless those of you that are signing petitions. God bless those of you that are voicing your opinions and not saying it's over. Not telling everybody to give up and just end the fight. Hey, Joe Biden is president-elect. He's president-elect. Yeah, of course, he'd be president for about 5 minutes anyway. And then Kamala frickin' Harris is your president? Kamala Harris. Just think about it. I know this has been said ad nauseum, but I'll say it again. Everybody said it 100,000 times. She got, what was it, less than 2% of the vote in the Democratic primaries? Now all of a sudden, everybody on the Democratic side wants her to be president. What's going on here, man? Does that not reek of insanity? Does it, though? Does it not reek of insanity? And, of course, again, we're being called conspiracy theorists and psychotic, and we can't handle the truth, and we're a cult. We're a cult because Donald Trump was winning. President Donald Trump was winning Florida. Of course, he did get that one, thankfully. You could just sense the cheat was on there, too. Florida. 20 years ago, that was a fascinating scenario that took place. But he was kicking ass in Pennsylvania, pardon me. All of a sudden, the voting stops. And then it's like, vroom, spike. Like hundreds of thousands of votes only for Joe Biden. And it was the only vote on the ballot. Come on, guys. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is reality. It is. That's why the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, openly was like, I'm fully confident that this is going to go through and Donald Trump will be reelected president, because he did get reelected. It's not insanity. It's not a cult following. It's not somebody who's unwilling to move on, who's unwilling to have a peaceful transition. You're the ones not willing to have a peaceful transition, liberals, morons. You're the ones not willing to do that. Honest to God. Because did they have a peaceful transition 4 years ago? Anyone? Peaceful transition, my ass. They're out on the streets screaming and moaning from day one to day done. They're still out in the streets screaming and moaning. Or, well, they will be soon, because I do believe this will be overturned. I believe it. I believe in the prophecy of, I believe it was Jeremiah Johnson back in March, talking about the enemy has Donald Trump. Well, this Donald Trump wearing a Babe Ruth jersey for the New York Yankees, down to his last strike. He had a dream. It was like a dream that became a prophecy type of thing. And he was down to his last strike, and then the pitcher, who was a demonic figure, threw the ball. It was going to be a fastball. God slowed the ball down, and then Trump hit a colossal home run. And at the time, Jeremiah Johnson and others believed that represented the coronavirus, that God was going to slow things down and Trump was going to hit a home run. I didn't see any home run with the coronavirus. I didn't see it. I truly believe that's right now what's happening. This is the 2 strikes. This is the 2 strikes, because strike 3 has not happened yet when states have not declared Joe Biden the winner. The media declared Joe Biden the winner. So, I mean, it's a big picture thing here. That's where I stand. I mean, you don't have to agree with that, the prophecy or dream, like a dream, like a vision that Jeremiah Johnson had way back in March. But you don't have to believe in that. But personally, I think there's something to that. It's making sense to what's happening right now. That's just how I see it. You don't have to agree. It is what it is, that type of thing. But, my God, this is an insane situation that we're going through, historic. We'll remember it 100 years from now, if obviously, at least other people will, because, yeah, well, who knows what things will be happening 100 years from now. I'm sure, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, I guess, very slowly. But a very historical time in this country. Hoping and believing, praying that if and when this does go through properly, that we will have peace. We will have calm. And it won't be literally a civil war. But if it is a civil war, it is a civil war. And, well, I mean, it just kind of reeks of it either way, regardless of who's going to be president, because if Joe Biden's in, clearly there was mass voter fraud. All the hints of it happening way back months ago from the Nancy Pelosi's, all these, like Joe Biden will be president, regardless of what happens on November the 4th, regardless of whatever happens, Joe Biden's going to be president by January 20th. Like, it's literally like planned out. And how Biden never left the basement and all that. I know all of this has been said, but it's just, it's still facts that we got to mention. There is too much to this quote unquote conspiracy theory for it to be a conspiracy theory. I think there's more to meet the eye. I think most of you listening would agree to that. And I don't know, man. It's a tough, frustrating, sad situation. Saturday, when they officially started declaring Joe Biden president-elect, the media, again, not officially, I had the massive migraine. I mean, I already kind of had a bit of a headache from fatigue and all that, doing lawn cleanups and the other job, the main job, as a trainer at Boston Scientific. It just overcame me, and the pain and suffering of it all, because it's like, boy, the cheat really is on 100,000%. And it's just going to be harder and harder and harder. But luckily I got through that day, and we're seeing more and more encouraging signs. Obviously, all the main media outlets are still saying president-elect. They're not showing the numbers. They're not showing jack squat. Tucker Carlson's doing the best he can. You can tell his hands are tied on Fox News. You can just tell. His hands are tied. It's frustrating. If he was able to say what he wanted to, like, luckily I am here, for now anyway, of course, because this is my own entity, paladinolive network, you can call it. It's my own entity, so I'm here. I'm not having Rupert Murdoch or whatever with a gun to my head, basically. That type of situation. Or Zucker of CNN. Blah, 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 blah. CNN, God. That there is a lot more than meets the eye with this. It's not just Biden. 291 electoral votes. That's not what's happening. That's not real. It's not real. Like the Associated Press, that's what it shows. 291 Joe Biden. It's over. Like, get out of here. It's long gone, man. It's a grand slam for Joe Biden, or a sacrifice bunt that went foul, but we'll call it a fair ball, and he like rounded the bases while we were complaining that it's a foul ball and it's a home run for Biden that way. Yeah, that kind of home run. Corruption rules. But it's not the case. I mean, other sites that are not tied to these major outlooks, to these major networks and all that, are showing all those states not called, like Georgia. North Carolina is Trump's. That actually was declared. Pennsylvania, even Nevada, Arizona especially, that's a big one, but Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin, it's not over. And of course, again, the recounts and the finding of all these stashed Democratic votes that are massive voter fraud all over the place in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and such. This ain't over, folks. It's not over. Buckle your safety belt and let's battle. Let's fight for this country as best we can, be it signing a petition, putting your voice out in special media, whatever it is, on social media. But most of all, again, hoping to wake up some of the people on the fence. I mean, people on the fence need to choose a side, and we pray to God is not on the blue, because it's one thing if you're Democrat. It's another if you're socialist, communist, Chinese com, or Chi-Com, basically, is what this Biden-Harris regime would be. And the crazy stuff that Kamala Harris has been saying about basically equal output and all that is pure insanity. I'm sorry. When you work your ass off to become a full trainer or whatever the heck you want to be, whatever the heck you are, a full manager or whatever, you're not on the same level as a temp that just walked in the door. But that's what Kamala Harris wants. That just doesn't work that way. You work hard to earn your position, to earn your pay, to earn your respect. I'm not saying kick on somebody that's at the bottom, because that's the last thing you want to do. You want to bring them up. But to just give it to them, basically, like we're all on equal level here, that's horse shit. And I don't stand for it. And I don't think any red-blooded American should, at the end of the day. As for the guns, well, yeah, there's that too. I mean, the right to bear arms is a big thing. First Amendment, Second Amendment, right there at the top. All of that. Nice to see, though, that a lot of these big shots that have been anti-Trump forever are starting to get worried. They're starting to get worried. They were pretty confident on Saturday. They're starting to shit bricks, as Alex Jones said. So that's the good part. Brennan especially out there. It's just kind of funny, but it is what it is there. With that said, I'm going to keep this short for now because I'm just getting this thing started. Want to get out there, I basically just kind of came on to have a brief word with all of you out there and an idea of what this show will be. I didn't put together any notes or anything. I didn't get anything together. Just wanted to come on and get some of this off my chest. And, of course, it'll keep coming. It'll keep coming, hopefully, and more in detail in the future. There'll be random releases. There's no schedule for this show. It's not going to be Mondays. It's not going to be Tuesdays. It's not going to be every 2 days. It's going to be random. And it's going to be random in length. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. But I'll do the best I can to keep up with things. And there'll be times where there'll be dry periods because sometimes I get super busy. So please understand that. But I'm going to do the best I can to come on as much as possible and hopefully continue to fight the good fight for this country and hope that you will do the same. Until next time, God bless America. Take care, and we'll talk to you next time.